in Maine. Why must I chase the cat?
You're silly. Good evening and welcome to Posse Presents, where I'm smiling on cue here. And yeah, okay, so it looked a little phony, whatever. I want to start tonight with a very happy birthday to a very special young lady. My dear friend Ashley, a young lady who I watched grow up. As her birthday today. She is my godson's older sister. So happy birthday, Ashley. Hope you had a great day. I'm going to start tonight with something in the Truth is Stranger Than Fiction department. Zach, can I have that picture? I think you know which one I mean. Truth is Stranger Than Fiction. You have no idea. All right. In New London today, animal control picked up a rather unusual creature. That should help you, my son. A 3.5-foot alligator in a dog crate at animal control right now. I have no idea. I mean, kudos to Tanya if that's, you know, if she had to rope that thing and put it in a crate. I'm sure they used a rabies pole and probably a couple of them, who knows. But seriously, what do you do with an alligator in a dog crate? Who gets to feed that? That's, you know, I mean, I just, truth is stranger than fiction. Walking down like a main street in New London was a 3.5-foot alligator. So, you know, these things are not, they're not legal to have. They're not wise to keep as pets. And I'm sure I have no idea what they're going to do with this guy. But yeah, that's how I decided to start the show tonight, is with a little bit of crazy news right off the top. Anyway, Zach, I will take the camera back, and we will say goodbye to Mr. Future Handbag, or whatever he is. Heaven help me. This is the weekend prior to the 4th of July, and what is common knowledge to many is not common knowledge to others. But July 4th is the biggest day for pets to get lost. Fireworks are no fun. I will vouch for that for your pets because they throw my house into a tizzy. I have nothing but trembling, shaking, panting, whining, frightened animals who won't go outside, who just want to crawl all over me, crawl in a hole, run in my room. Whatever they want to do, they do not like fireworks, and many pets don't. It's not just mine. Excuse me. So, you really, really need to protect your pet. Take the time now to check the fit on your leashes and your collars and your harnesses. Make sure that there are no flaws in your leash where it's going to break. If there's something on its last leg, maybe replace it now. Make sure your collars are nice and snug. Don't choke your dog, but make sure it's not, if the dog decides to back up, it's not going to flip right over its head and your dog takes off in fear. Make sure those harnesses are the same. Your dogs cannot get out of the harness. If you're out and there are fireworks, the dog freaks and starts to pull. Be prepared, wrap the leash around your hand, take extra precautions. You know, a frightened animal is not an animal that's thinking. It just wants to run, you know, fight or flight, it's going to run. So take all of the precautions now, because all the noise and all the scary stuff for your animals, it's going to start. Make sure your pet is wearing ID tags. That's a big problem when someone finds an animal, doesn't have a collar on, has a collar but doesn't have tags. The tags aren't up to date. So spend the time between now and the 4th making sure that your pet is wearing, and it should always be, but you know, you're going to be prepared for something that may happen. Do it now. Make sure your tags have your proper phone number. Have a backup phone number. If you have a cell phone, make sure that's on there, because it's going to do you no good If you're out looking for a pet that just ran away or whatever happened, and someone's calling your home number, but you're out in the car riding around or walking through your neighborhood and you've got your cell phone, it's not ringing, your house phone's ringing. So make sure your cell phone is on your pet tags. If you have your animals microchipped, make sure that information is up to date, because that's another thing that does no good if it's not up to date. Scan a chip, old information, can't find the owner, and what is going to happen to your pet. Your best bet is to keep them inside. Don't leave them outside unattended. If you have cats, keep them in. If you have dogs, don't leave them unattended. They'll dig under a fence, they'll jump over a fence, they might break their lead. Think for your pet. If your pet displays the signs of fear, don't put it in a worse situation by, even though it's a usual thing maybe to, have a fenced-in yard, let it run around for a few minutes, stay out there, isn't even going to help, because you can stand out there and watch your pet jump a fence or something. So just think like you mean it. You know what I'm saying? Think like your animal. Understand that just because you're there with it and everything's like normal, that noise is going to make it freak out. So if you do lose your pet, make sure you go to the pound. Don't just call animal control and say, hey, my dog is missing. That is a good start, but make sure you go down to the pound yourself, because the way you would describe your dog may not be the same way that another person describes your dog. So if you don't lay your eyes on every animal in that pound, and I'm sick of hearing, I can't go to the pound and look at all the homeless dogs. Well, then go down and adopt one and make a difference. But go down and put your eyes on every animal they have, because once the stray hold is up, if there's no room for the animals, you know what happens, and you don't want your pet to be among the statistics while you're out there looking, and the dog is getting killed while you're out there looking for it because you were too lazy or too boo-hooey to go down and look for the pet yourself. If you give your pets meds for fear and for thunderstorms and fireworks, make sure you have plenty on hand, because the 4th of July is during the week, and now you've got the whole next weekend to get through with fireworks displays planned for the weekend. So make sure you've got plenty of meds on hand for the 4th and after, if that's how you treat your pets. You don't want to run out, or you don't want to go to hit your supply and find that you are out and now you're dealing with a problem. Think of, if it works for your pet, think of if you needed medication and you didn't have it to take, think of your pet. Protect your pet. If you have to go out, leave the TV on, leave the music on, do something to try to calm the noise. I mean, they're still going to hear the vibrations, they're still going to smell the smells, but same with a thunderstorm. But leave the TV on, leave it on a little loud, leave the radio on, leave it on a little loud. Try to drown it out a little bit for them. Sometimes for some animals it does help. Make sure your windows are secure. If you leave your windows open, don't leave them as open. Close them, put the air conditioning on, because a pet that's freaking out may jump on a window and find itself going out the window, and you don't want that to happen either while you're not home or while you are home. Doesn't matter. You still don't want your dog or cat getting out a window, however by accident that might be. So take some time to make sure that you have all the bases covered, because like I said, it's the biggest day that pets get lost, the 4th of July. And last and not least, do not take them to fireworks displays. Some dogs are unfazed by things, and kudos to them, but you just never know. So just don't do it. It's as easy as that. It's up to you to protect your pet, and your pet relies on you. Again, like I always say, if you're going to have company, and I know that the 4th of July is a day when people have barbecues and people over and all that, put your pet out of harm's way. You know, make sure that it can't get into foods and alcohol and whatever you might have around. Think of your pet, people in and out of your house. Keep that animal in a crate if it's necessary, closed in a room that's well cooled if necessary. You know, don't let your pet sneak out the door while people are running back and forth in and out. Just think about all the scenarios where something can go wrong and try to cover the bases. That's all I'm saying. It's up to you. Your animal doesn't know any better, and your guests may not be used to having animals around, so they don't know the rules. All right, so on to the next thing. As far as my birthday list, we do have an update. Percy from New Haven, adopted, yay! But we still have Taj. So Zach, let's run through these real quick. We've got Taj's poster, and there she goes. Taj is going to be at the Dog Days adoption event tomorrow, and so you can go down and meet her. She's actually beautiful. There were some more pictures posted of her, and she is just a gorgeous little thing. I would love to just snatch her up, but I'm not in that position. But Taj has been more than half of her life in the pound. She's about 1.5 years old. She's getting stressed. They took her on a little field trip. She did marvelous. You know, she's just a sweet, sweet dog, and she needs to get out of there asapatorily. So go check out the Dog Days adoption event in Guilford, and you can meet her, and many of the other dogs from New Haven will be there as well. That was running today and tomorrow, but obviously you've only got tomorrow, and she will be there tomorrow. So check it out. Check out Taj. Check out the other urchins in New Haven. And if you want to give them a call, their number's 203-946-8110. Zach, let's switch it up to, there's 2 pictures of Desiree. Let's show those real quick. She's in Bridgeport. She's been there since October. She's about 1.5 years old. She's very energetic and athletic. They are saying no cats for her. Let's catch the other picture of her as well, if we can, Zach, the side view. And there she is, beautiful girl. And we also have in Bridgeport Peepa. She's been in Bridgeport since November. She was a throwaway mama, and she's a sweet, playful girl. Zach, we got Peepa? Yep. There we go. That's the throwaway mama. She's sweet and playful. Been there since November. I think she's probably fallen into that whole black dog syndrome, being overlooked, and probably not real fair because she's a great dog from what I understand. There's also a 20-year-old cat. We don't have a picture. I haven't seen any news of that being adopted in Bridgeport, but probably still there. If you want to check out any of those dogs or any of the animals, and they do have some more urchins in Bridgeport, trust me. These are the 2 that I happened to pick. Bridgeport's phone number, 203-576-7727. Once again, that's 203-576-7727. And now, will wonders never cease? Can we get Junior up there, Zach? Poor Junior. I've been talking about him for 2 weeks. I haven't seen where he's gone anywhere yet either. I've been talking about him for 2 weeks, and I keep forgetting to get his picture up there. But yeah, poor Junior is the dog that's been living in solitude. A couple took him in, and you know, the wife doesn't like the dog. The husband says he loves him. They have him living outside. It's really too hot for that, and I'm not a fan of chaining dogs outside. And then they pull him in at night and throw him in an apartment that, you know, they don't live in. And so the poor dog is literally alone all day and all night, and he's got no kind of life. So if you're interested in Junior, and look at that face. I mean, he looks like a love. It's not the best picture in the world, but he looks so sad and so lonely. And he must be, because dogs are not meant to live alone. If you're interested, 203-641-4604. Once again, 203-641-4604. All right, Zach, bring me back. Now I'm going to talk to you about a dog that I've talked about any number of times before. I've written articles about her, talked about some of the events in her life, but if anyone remembers Coco, and I know a lot of you do, a lot of you are familiar with her Facebook page, and there she is, that's Coco, and yep, Zach, you can pull her up. She is just the sweetest girl. She's got the most beautiful face, she's got a great disposition, and I love her. But she has had a really, really hard time in her life. She was found roaming, she was brought to the pound, she was adopted out to a family, homeschooled kids there all the time, they were little ones, hanging on her, she growled, they got upset about it, brought her back to the pound. A couple of days later, went back to the pound boo-hooing because they missed her. And in my opinion, a misstep was readopting her or releasing her back to that family. And, supposedly she, barked at somebody on their lawn, and that freaked them out once again. So they brought her back and gave her up. And the poor thing sat in the pound forever. Her time was running out. And 20 Paws to Share, wonderful organization, pulled her and found an adopter for her, but he turned out to be not Mr. Right, but Mr. Right Now, unfortunately, and ladies, you know what I'm talking about. They spent 1.5 years together, but his life changed apparently, and he gave Coco off to a family member, and unfortunately the general consensus is that she was not a beloved member of this family. They allowed her to get fat. She was like 20 pounds overweight, and it was really pretty sad. It was a violation of the adoption contract for them to, for her adopter to give her to anybody else. Thankfully, 20 Paws to Share did stay in touch with the family, and in spite of being told, oh yeah, all is well, they did finally get the truth, and they reclaimed her. I did bring it up when Coco was reclaimed. She was going to be, thoroughly checked out at the vet. She was going to have to be reevaluated because clearly after 1.5 years, she's probably not the same dog, Life changes people over time, and she was living in a home and certain conditions and things that may have not been the case at one point, could be now. Whatever. So she was reevaluated, and the truth that we know is that she's never been in a home with cats, so nobody knows how she does with cats. She should be with older children, because as I said, the younger ones I think probably make her nervous, running around and hanging all over her, and she doesn't like it. Some dogs don't. You don't have to. People don't like it. So why would a dog like it? So that's her story. 20 Paws to Share, if you want to try to reach out to them to find out about Coco. Their email is 20pawsrescue@gmail.com. That's the word 20 spelled out, paws, rescue, all one word, @gmail.com. Now, I'll take the camera back, Zach, and if you want to follow Coco's progress, there is a Facebook page, as I mentioned. It's Rescue Coco, and it's been lovingly adminned by a wonderful woman who I'm proud to call a friend, Marie Marsh, and Marie is adminning Coco's page from England. So you go figure how a woman can be that so concerned about our animals over here. She's poured her heart and soul into doing everything she can to help Coco out from over there, to help 20 Paws to Share out from over there. I think she's a wonderful woman, And it's a shame that our paths will probably never cross in person, but as long as there's Facebook, we're good to go. So Marie, thank you for all you do. Keep sharing all these animals and keep doing what you do for Coco. You are a prize. All right, so last week I talked about a fawn that was, I don't know where to start with this one. It was abused. It was, you know, hogtied and chased and all that. And I didn't speak to the wildlife rehabilitator before I went on the air, and I was getting a lot of the information off of the Facebook page. It was fast and furious. And what I had gotten out of the situation was that it was a random act. Now, even worse than it being a random act, it was not a random act. Apparently, there was always knowledge of who did it and what happened. And really, to me, that makes it that much worse. But there's a lot to the story. And the poor thing is in fair condition, has been evaluated, and is probably about a month old. So I'm not sure how long they're supposed to spend with their moms, but this poor thing will not have that luxury in its life. It's kind of slow going with this little guy. Really, it disturbs me to no end. The mother is probably still looking for her baby. Will either never know what happened or saw what happened, and it's going to leave scars. I mean, animals feel things, people. Don't think that they don't. This little guy now is kind of struggling, and he could or couldn't go into some kind of a stress-related decline. So he's in a pretty guarded state. Like I said, they're saying that he's in fair condition, but it's slow going. He's just a baby. He doesn't know any better than being with his mom. So it's even sadder that, according to the Stanford paper, which the link to that article is on my Pound Posse Presents Facebook page, the case has been closed, according to the authorities, and they have decided that there was no intent to injure this fawn. Now, I just have problems with that, and I don't know what we can do about it, if anything, but unfortunately, there won't be any more to it. And that just, like I said, it's disturbing. Some of the stuff I see is just so disturbing. You know, if you remember, earlier this year, I talked about some crazy squirrel shooting festival in upstate New York. Someone brought to my attention today a frog stabbing thing that they're doing down south. I mean, who thinks of this stuff? Why do people have to injure and maim and torture animals? I just don't understand it. If someone can explain that to me, that'd be great, because I really, really don't get it. Anyway, next week, as long as nothing changes, we will have that wildlife organization on, and we can talk some more about the fawn. And I've wanted to get out there to you folks things about wildlife and what to do if you find them, and steps to take, and things to do and things not to do. So if all things stay the same, we will have that show finally next week, and I'm excited. Anyway, Zach, can we bring up that lost dog poster, please? Yep, the red and white one. Yep, you got it. He's not liking my cues tonight, but we're getting through it, aren't we? All right, so it came out this week on Facebook is where we got all this information, and thanks to the people at Granite State Dog Recovery who make these posters and put out on their Facebook page and all of their resources these posters and alerts. There's a missing dog from Waterbury, and the word was out that the dog was stolen. Last seen in the Bradley Avenue and Highland Avenue area. The dog may have been taken to Hillsborough, New Hampshire area. Poor little guy. I mean, like, I can't imagine. Like, people stop. I mean, just really. But anyway, he's a male pug, fawn gray and black. He's 5 years old, 22 pounds. He was wearing a collar. His name is Stewie. And I think that's hilarious because it makes me think of the cartoon. But, you know, that's just me and my sick humor. But yeah, I can imagine that Stewie's family is distraught. So this poster is on the Pound Posse Presents page on Facebook. If you can get on there and share it, you know, sharing is awareness. And perhaps these people can get their dog back because, you know, I can't personally imagine. There's one phone number there on the poster, but the Facebook share has 3 phone numbers, and I will read them all to you. The first one is that one on the poster, 203-264-3393. The other number is 203-509-6113. That's 203-509-6113. The third number is 203-725-1938. That's 203-725-1938. And anything anybody knows about Stewie or his whereabouts, if you know what happened to him, if he was in fact stolen and you know who took him, you know, do the right thing and encourage him to give the dog back unharmed. If it were your dog, think about how you'd feel. You know, I mean, I would dare to say even if you're not a pet lover, but if you're not a pet lover, you're probably not watching the show anyway. But I'm sure you can imagine just how that might feel to lose your dog and be looking for it. So anyway, Zach, I'll take the camera back because I think we're kind of just about out of time. And there we are. So have a safe and happy 4th of July. And I think maybe, Zach, what are we, almost to credits or what? Okay, we're on credits right now. So I'm going to say goodnight. Have a happy and safe 4th. Celeste, come on, do it with me. Peace, love, and dogs. Take care, everyone. Have a great week. We'll see you again next time.